Thomas, your father left you something.
So where was he?
At Oddlicker.
I'll call you back.
We have a really big, exciting treat for you. It's Jim Carrey in a live-action Penguin movie. I'm Christy. That's Alonso. That's Matt. And Ben is in the cone of silence. Can we see the Ben cam, please? Hello! How's it going? That means you can't hear the Miss America pageant final questions until it's your turn to answer. So the lovely Alonso is going to explain to us what this movie is all about.
Oh, God, I wish I knew. Okay, it boils down to this. Jim Carrey is a bad dad because he spends all of his time at work and neglecting his children. And then his own neglectful dad, who is a world explorer, bequeaths him a penguin. And then suddenly there are 6 penguins. And then, of course, Jim Carrey's kids love them. And their relationship is great. But then the mean zookeeper wants to take the penguins away. But then Jim Carrey doesn't want to give them away because then it'll ruin his relationship with his kids. And then he wants to buy a tavern on the green and things happen. I don't know.
Oh, hey! Not quite ready yet.
Penguins, yes!
Not fair. Mr. Popper, give me the birds. Can't actually take the penguins right now. My kid's crazy about them.
Oh, that's not right!
Pull yourself together. Your house is full of penguins.
So that's Mr. Popper's penguins. They are actual penguins. They are not metaphorical penguins. There is no subtext.
But there is CG.
Some, yeah. There are some
There's
live action penguins. With the
CG.
scene where they're having dinner, where the penguins are all climbing all over him, those are actual real life
Right.
penguins.
That
But then
might
there
be
are
like
CG penguins
one
too.
of the 2 or 3 scenes of the whole movie that they're not fake.
But let me ask you this: can you tell the difference between the fake penguins and the real penguins?
Do we care?
I think that
No.
the effects are good enough that it's pretty seamless. That impressed me.
I only brought it up because you said they were real life penguins. The reasons I don't like this movie have nothing to do with fake penguins. There's so much more that drives me nuts about this
Okay.
movie. Okay, for one thing, like they keep making the zookeeper the bad guy for wanting to put the penguins in an appropriate environment that isn't some guy's Manhattan apartment, and he's right. Like everything Gregg as the zookeeper says is totally right. He shouldn't be keeping those penguins. It's bad for them. They should be somewhere where they can be taken
Right,
care
and
of.
Jim
They should
Carrey
be
says, "What are you, some
together,
kind of?" At one point, he's questioning me. He says, "What are you, some kind of penguin expert?" He's like, "Yeah."
Yes.
But we're supposed to know that Jim Carrey is a little nuts for wanting to keep the penguins in his apartment. Of
Right,
course,
but
of course we're on Clark
the
Gregg's
movie
side.
is supporting Jim Carrey. We're not on Clark Gregg's side. The movie goes out of its way to put us on Jim Carrey's side, even when we shouldn't be on Jim Carrey's side.
But they're a family. They should be together.
Oh God!
They have souls. It's like Buck. It's like the horse documentary. The animals have souls.
No, it's. I'll tell you what documentary it's like is One Lucky Elephant, which is this guy should not be keeping an elephant. The elephant should be living where elephants live.
It's a really big piece of real estate, though, for Manhattan.
That is
There's a lot of
It is,
space
yeah.
in there.
And it is. I will say it's the best use of the Guggenheim since the International.
I liked the Guggenheim scene. See?
That was cute.
I didn't hate this movie.
But generally speaking, I thought this, way too much poop humor.
I agree.
And just again, what is it with movies about hardworking dads? Like there has been this whole spate of them recently where it's all about, oh, dad spends too much time in the office, he doesn't go to enough softball games, let's scold him. It's like, you know what? The economy is in the crapper these days. These guys got to work overtime to keep their kids in, braces and iPhones. And movies are never giving them a break. And you know that the execs that greenlight these movies are as bad, if not worse, of workaholics.
Are on
as
their
dads.
BlackBerries during their kids' softball games.
Totally.
So go ahead, yes.
I didn't really enjoy that movie that much, but I didn't hate it. It's, if I was sitting through a movie with kids that you have to take kids to, there's worse movies out right now.
If you're under
Judy
8,
Moody.
you will be enraptured. I thought Judy Moody was better, but I'm in the minority.
Yeah,
on that
whatever. This movie was okay. You kind of get what you expect out of Jim Carrey, although a lot less of it. I think he's getting a little long in the tooth to do his kind of crazy physical shenanigans. He's looking old in this movie.
But he's not nearly as annoyingly antic as he can be. Like all the physicality is there and like the timing and the quick wit.
Right.
But there's also a bit of like a darker kind of smart ass.
I actually think this movie, what does work about this movie works because of him. I think he's really good in it, and he brings a charisma to the screen that I think the script otherwise wouldn't really deserve. I was okay with it. The penguin scenes are kind of cute sometimes, but there are better penguin movies out there.
March of the
Penguins.
Happy Feet.
Happy Feet.
Name that penguin movie. You know what though?
Batman Returns.
I did not hate this. I walked into it going, oh my God, this is going to be death. It's a live action penguin movie. But Jim Carrey's great in it, and it reminded me of like an old school kind of high concept screwball comedy, and I had fun.
But those are smarter. I mean, like those old Disney movies where people had like seals or penguins or whatever, and those were smarter movies.
See,
like,
it made me think of Going Ape.
ooh, ouch.
No,
Yeah,
it was
which is
It was
valid.
definitely a classic.
Ben has thoughts.
It was definitely a classic screwball comedy. It was like Breaking Up Baby. I just want to say that I've recused myself from the review because I'm involved in a relationship with Carla Gugino.
Oh,
and
I
it
thought
just-
you were. I thought you were involved in a relationship with a penguin.
It seems inappropriate. Also, I didn't see it. Anyway, those are my thoughts. You guys want to give scores, or you got more to say
Well,
about the
the
frickin' penguins?
other thing I want to throw in, Mark Waters, who directed this, made
Right.
Mean Girls, he made The House of Yes. He is way too talented for this kind of crap, and this will probably be the highest grossing movie he's ever made.
I think because he is talented, he makes this material better than it probably has a right to be.
I
I'll
suppose, but
agree
it's
with
still
that.
but
I'll
it's
kind of
better,
agree
yes,
with that.
but still not good.
I had fun. There was a little boy at my screening physically jumping up and down in his little seat the entire time because he was so pumped about
No,
the penguin.
look, if you have a 7-year-old, take him, her, they'll have a great time, and then years later they'll watch this movie and go, wow, I had no taste at all when I was in the first grade.
But if you have to go with said 7-year-old, you will not want to like stick needles in your eyes. It's not that insufferable.
No, I went to the bathroom twice, and I usually don't go at all. I just needed to get out of the theater for a while.
Did Jim Carrey have to pick
He
you
did
up
not
and
hold
you
me
up?
up. No,
went to
I wanted to get away from the screen for a
I
while.
think he
Alonso
didn't
went to
like
the
it.
Alonso went to the bathroom twice, and he didn't even have to go.
For the second time, I pretty much just washed my hands. I mean,
I
it was
think
that bad.
you
I had a
would've
better
liked
time.
it.
I had a better time at Judy Moody. I'm gonna.
Oh, stop!
I did.
That's a terrible movie.
I think you would have liked the
That's a
Penguin movie better
god-awful
if you'd
movie.
actually stayed and watched the entire thing. There could be a really important twist and bits of subtext that you
Yes,
missed.
that's it.
Because you didn't give it a
You know,
shot.
one of the
That's
things I
it.
do have to bring up, and I'm gonna, because when she said this, Gray Drake, who were sitting next to us on the screening, said that casting Clark Gregg in anything, especially role where he's got any kind of authority, you start thinking about S.H.I.E.L.D. And I started thinking, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. wants these penguins. We're gonna see penguins in the Avengers, which would have been funny.
Let's do numbers. Ben's our number girl. He's
Yeah.
your number girl?
Okay.
I forgot what we think.
So Christy gave it a 6. She came in highest on this. Matt gave it a 4.5, although your review sounded like maybe you liked it more. Maybe you ought to rethink
Maybe
that.
I don't want to admit it.
And Alonso gave it a 3.5, which is how I felt about the Green Lantern. And I would like to say that I liked the International, and I thought the Guggenheim shootout scene was excellent.
It was excellent.
That's the only thing.
But that scene would have been better with penguins.
it would have been, obviously, and I said that at the time.
I remember you saying that.
Pull the tape.
The overall numbers for Mr. Popper's a 4.7. So we liked it slightly less than the Green
I was
Lantern.
gonna say that's pretty damn close to our Green Lantern review, but Popper's Penguins is beating the crap out of the Green Lantern on the tomato meter,
yeah,
where it really counts.
Yeah.
Where it's like in the 50s.
It's 50 something. It's, people are pretty
So
split on it.
this would be a
and-
good weekend to watch The Trip or 13 Assassins on video on demand, I think.
Yes.
Okay,
I agree.
we agree. All right, have a good weekend, guys. Thanks.
Bye.